Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the On 3 podcast. We are back. It's been a minute since we've been in this great studio, and you might be wondering, why are we playing Teenage Fever by Drake?
Why are we playing Teenage Fever?
Well, first of all, it's one of my favorite songs by Drake. Hella underrated.
This whole album is freaking underrated.
More life.
More life.
We're going to get into that in a bit, but why did we just bring up Drake?
I don't know if you've seen this, but you know what? Let's pause this song now. But interesting developments in the rap game. We got basically Marvel turning into rap, or rap turning into Marvel. It makes no sense. So very recently, Future and Metro Boomin dropped an album called We Don't Trust You.
Future and Metro Boomin. I thought Future and Drake were boys. What happened?
Yes, first of all, Metro Boomin don't fuck with Drake anymore, apparently. There was a whole thing about that. But now they teamed up to put out this album. You know what? Great music. Blah, blah, blah.
How's the album? Did you listen to it?
That album goes hard, by the way. Drake disses or no Drake disses, that album goes hard. Metro Boomin, I'll say this on live. What is this? Television? Whatever you want to call it. Metro Boomin is the top producer in the rap game. Sorry to murder beat or take you.
Can't hear the Spider-Man tracks?
Yes, beautiful.
Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse.
Metro Boomin has made it to the top of the producer game.
Not gonna lie, yeah. I bumped those two albums from the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
for a month straight.
Really?
The songs were so good, and I think it was the movie itself was just so good that it also elevated the songs. Or I don't know if it's vice versa. The songs were so good it elevated the movie.
Yeah.
Either way, whatever it is, I've been in love with those songs.
So Metro Boomin and Future drop an album. It's called We Don't Trust You. And legit, they're just taking a shot at Drake. And I think the song that blew up was called Like That. It had Kendrick on it. Kendrick went in on J. Cole and Drake. So I don't know.
So are J. Cole and Drake a duo now? Is that what's going on? It's all a blur?
I mean, the Spider-Man meme. Big as the what? Right? You got Spider-Man meme. They're looking right at each other. And Kendrick's like, what big three? It's just big me.
I think Kendrick's just jealous. He wasn't invited to the party.
I think it was that too. But as a result of this, you got people that were very close with Drake just because of the songs that have been released in the past up until now. You got Future, you got Rick Ross, you got The Weeknd, Nav, all these other guys, some irrelevant guys in there too. And they're all forming up to just gang up on Drake.
It's a rap civil war.
Yeah, but this is my question. And it's very similar to Marvel. When you have a guy like Thanos, why the hell would you want to go after him?
In the snap of a finger.
Yeah.
Back to back, like I'm Jordan 96, 97.
Exactly.
Whoa.
You're just prompting the guy to
take it in how Meek Mill is on Drake's side now.
I thought he was on Diddy's side.
Oh, that's a whole other story.
I know he moved like that. But Meek Mill's on Drake's side. Drake has a couple of guys, but it's interesting. You know what? I think this is making the rap game more interesting than ever, in my opinion. Competition's always been a part of the rap game. It's supposed to be part of the rap game because, it's all about ego and getting to the top and, friendly competition. But it's getting very interesting right now because imagine just switching teams in a split second.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is there really competition? Does Drake have competition?
I don't think Drake has competition. In the rap game, let me rephrase that. As an artist, Drake does not have competition. Yeah, if you bring it down to rap, I do think he has competition.
Wait, but I would say the opposite though.
Why is that?
I would say in the rap game he doesn't have competition. But
really?
If you go and make it broader into generally as an artist, he has a lot of competition. There are bigger artists than him.
Let this be told. This is going to be our first disagreement. He definitely has competition in the rap game.
Who is his competition in the rap game?
There's the big three-headed monster.
J. Cole?
J. Cole.
J. Cole hasn't had a hit by himself in probably years.
What do you mean? He's the only guy, I think, that went with the whole album without features that went platinum. 2014 Forest Hill Drive.
Yeah, 2014.
Oh, come on. That's just his house address.
That was 10 years ago.
That was 10 years ago.
That's we're talking about a whole decade ago to give Drake some competition.
Oh, boy. Oh, Kendrick.
Okay, yeah, DNA.
No, Grammy after Grammy after Grammy after Grammy. Like, I know the Grammys don't mean
So okay,
much.
when we talk about rap competition, what do we mean? Is it like, are we talking about just spitting bars, or are we talking about producing hits?
I think both. I think for you to only produce like lyrical content and like spitting bars, you're catering to a niche, the enthusiasts of what you call the rap game. But to go over and above and to be considered on top of the rap game, what did Eminem do? He had the voice, he had the bars, and then he made hits. And now,
But that's the thing, Eminem made hits. The thing about Kendrick is, yeah, as a lyricist, he's probably number one,
yeah,
right? Maybe it's between him and J. Cole, but maybe I'll give the edge to Kendrick a bit.
yeah,
But his fans are a very niche market, a very niche group of people who are fans of Kendrick.
you know, Kobe was a fan of Kendrick, and it made so much sense now why
Yeah,
Kobe never liked Drake and LeBron likes Drake. You can make parallels with the NBA superstars
and rap game. Yeah, I can see that.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I feel like Kendrick, talent wise, in the rap game, probably number one.
yeah.
But he never had the kind of hits that Drake does to this day. Drake puts out a hit or two every single year.
Yeah, and
Sometimes every single month.
yeah, and I think we take that for granted.
Exactly. And that's a thing that makes, I think, Drake one of the greatest artists of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He understands the pulse of the people.
Ah,
He understands how to make hits. He understands what people like. He understands how to make people love him. And it because he consistently produces songs that you can dance to, that you can bump in your car with your boys and just go on a long road trip.
cry to as well, you know.
Songs that you can cry to. Songs that he honestly never mind by Drake. We were talking about it earlier. I think it's pretty underrated.
Really?
He's experimenting with a whole different genre. And there are a lot of bangers in that album, which wouldn't, I guess, cater to the niche rap audience, but that's Drake branching out to a broader audience. And I think that's commendable. And I don't think a lot of folks in the rap game do that, take that risk. But Drake does, and he succeeds a lot of the time.
You know what? In saying that, I think you just put it a very correct way. Drake is an artist, and all those other guys that we mentioned, predominantly Kendrick and Cole, they're rappers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're rappers. Now, if we're talking about artists, I wouldn't say Drake is the biggest artist. Like,
now
you've seen those Eras Tour videos.
Who?
Taylor Swift. T-Swift.
Swiftie. Yeah. I'm a closet Swiftie myself. Forgot.
So I would say, obviously, Taylor Swift probably has a bigger fan base than Drake.
Yeah.
I mean, not probably. I think it kind of looks like she does.
Yeah.
You see those ticket prices in Toronto for the Eras Tour? Like, I think the cheapest ticket was like $2,000.
Really?
I've looked into it. I've thought about going.
Until you saw the amount of zeros after the two.
Exactly.
There you go.
The Weeknd, almost as big as Drake, I would say, as an artist.
I would say in some sense bigger globally, right?
Yeah, globally might be bigger.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that he's announced the end of his Weeknd career because he wants to be able now. Able to be able. Switch the
It's actually crazy how two Canadian mans are basically running the music
come on,
scene.
give kudos to Justin.
Okay, fine, 3 Canadian mans.
Yes.
At Shawn Mendes, 4.
Yeah, Nelly Furtado, 5.
I mean, she's back in the day. Avril Lavigne, might as well.
6. But yeah,
we're probably missing some, but yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And
but yeah, so so the Weeknd, I would say Bad Bunny's probably bigger than Drake globally.
Yeah, just because there's so many people that listen to Latin music.
Yeah. And who else might be bigger than Drake? BTS probably.
Yeah, I mean, Jungkook's doing his own thing right now. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day.
You think Arjit Singh is bigger than Drake?
Oh, come on.
Just take the Indian population, Pakistani
Yeah,
population.
see, that's not
Bengali.
fair. That's one-dimensional. Just because there's a billion people right there.
Exactly. But yeah, I would say global impact-wise, Drake, top 5. No other rappers come close.
Wow. And going back to that point, you know what's funny? This whole thing of this conspiracy of everybody conspiring against Drake. A few people, like other rappers, have actually mentioned this, whether it's through a song or through an interview, like Drake's tenure at the top, which he is, and how people will just want his downfall. Eminem actually referenced it, and so did Jay-Z. So that's kind of unique to see where it's kind of unique to see the cycle of Drake's evolution to coming up, staying at number one, now just dropping hit after hit, but now people being like, yo, you're dropping, like, you're going to get haters along the way.
Yeah, I mean, I can see some hate is justified because I feel like Drake, especially when it comes to his rap songs, it's more of the same.
Oh, yeah.
His lyrics haven't really evolved.
No,
and that's why I say, like, Kendrick lyrically better than Drake. No questions asked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Drake, I feel like Drake is also a bit oversaturated because he just drops songs all the time where it's like, okay, like, take a break.
Yeah.
Let us miss you a bit.
Exactly.
And then come back.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine Christmas being like 52 times a year. We ain't going Boxing Day shopping.
No, exactly.
Yeah, make it a bit special, you know. You know what I think he's also lost a bit? Mind you, I'm a big Drake fan, but I think he's also
the
biggest the what? No, I'm kidding. But I think he's lost a bit of storytelling. I kid you not. Every time I like hear Wet Dreams, I can close my eyes and I can picture the whole song.
Let me take y'all back, man.
See, that's good storytelling, and Kendrick does the same thing too, and some other rappers. But I can't close my eyes and you broke my heart. Like, okay,
yeah, I feel like Drake's, like, his songs are more or less always about the same thing.
Yeah,
which is like, I got money, you don't. I got haters. Some girl broke my heart, and fuck them bitches.
Keys to life. I'm kidding. Not for everybody.
Yeah. But I think, most Drake songs kind of boil down to one of those elements.
Yeah.
And that's also why I feel like some people justifiably hate on Drake.
Yeah.
But again, you can't deny the fact that he still creates hits based on those 4 topics every single time.
So, question of today is, do you think Drake is going to do his best impression of Thanos? And
I want him to. I feel like Drake needs someone to light a fire under his ass.
Yeah.
For him to come up with some bangers again.
You know, I just want Drake to be a bit more gangster again. I don't know if he was ever considered gangster, but like, because like he's mad sus now.
He's never been good.
Huh?
Manita Maxween. That's not gangster, bro. He's a Toronto man through and through, okay? Toronto mans are not known as gangsters. No matter how much we try to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. At least try a little.
No, but that's the thing. I think Drake knows that, hey, I'm Canadian. I'm a Toronto man.
Oh, so you got to force feed into that, right?
Yeah,
okay.
So speaking of that, what's your favorite Drake track or favorite Drake album?
Favorite Drake album? 2-part answer. Without considering anything, it's Take Care. Full-fledged album from beginning to end. It's a very raw album. Raw meaning is just it's Drake at his finest.
Was that the album where that was like the first and last time Drake collaborated with The Weeknd? Crew Love.
Ooh, that.
Play it. Come on, play it.
Look at this.
Oh man, Weeknd and Drake. I wish there was more of that collaboration.
Yeah, like why EXO?
All of Canada would explode. Toronto would be like a mayhem.
Exactly.
Imagine if The Weeknd and Drake dropped a collab album together.
It's sad that they got so big for each other, essentially.
That is sad.
Yeah,
that is sad. We've never seen Drake collaborate with The Weeknd or really Justin Bieber. Like, JB showed up in one of his music videos, but they never actually did a song together.
Exactly. Ooh. There's my battery.
All right, yeah. But yeah, all right, okay. So Take Care.
Yeah,
take that on. I'm gonna ask you to.
Yeah. So Take Care, my favorite album of Drake all time. But what do I think is Drake's best album? Like, if I think about it factually, there is not a better production from beginning to end, a complete production, than Nothing Was the Same. You got your bangers in there. You got a 7-minute song in Pound Cake.
Yep.
That's I can't fathom that. Then you got some slow songs in there. You got some worse, you got some bangers in there, started from the bottom. You got some sad boy, some fuck boy, any kind of boy.
I said, bounce that shit like, whoa. That's from that album, right?
It's not a fairy tale. Yeah, exactly.
Why you gotta fight with me?
That's Views. Stop.
Oh, right. Never mind.
Stop playing with him, right? Yeah, but Nothing Was the Same. Factually, in my opinion, best Drake album, and then best favorite album, Take Care.
Take care.
Yeah.
I rate that. I rate that.
Yeah.
I think for me,
Yeah.
my favorite album, I'm not going to say what the best was because it's very subjective.
Correct.
It's everyone to their own. But my favorite album,
Yeah.
More Life.
Oof.
I know people hate on it,
Yeah.
but I love Dancehall Drake.
Yeah.
I think More Life just for me just holds so much. I was telling you this, just holds so much nostalgia
Yeah.
because I just remember being in my final year of undergrad and pulling all-nighters and bumping More Life because I think it came out around exam season.
The perfect time to have more life as well.
Exactly. So I was just bumping it all night in the
Yeah.
background and just studying, doing my assignments, projects. So I have like a very core memory attached to that album.
Oh yeah.
And I just love so many, like Teenage Fever that we started the episode with.
So you're telling me you're on your last chapter or whatever you're studying, and you're just like, you need to get that shit together.
Yeah, get that shit together. Yeah. Passion Fruit.
Ooh,
Pull up Passion Fruit.
let's pull up some passion fruit. I think for the longest time I didn't even know what that was.
Just listen to that. Listen to the vibe. To this day, you go on a long drive in the middle of the night. Imagine it's a rainy day.
Oof.
It's raining at night. You're driving, and this is playing in your car. That's such a vibe.
I'm not even fucking with anybody. I just closed my eyes and I just imagined all of that.
Exactly.
And we're in a studio recording this episode.
Now I just want to go for a drive bumping some passion fruit.
Hold on. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. So that song, that's the other thing about Drake. This man makes songs for every occasion.
Yes.
You want to party hard at the club? You got that.
Yeah.
You want to go for a drive? You got that. You want to be sad in your room? You got Marvin's Room. You want to, I don't know. What
You want to work out, get hype? You got that too.
You want to make love to your girl? You got some songs for that too, I think.
Wow. What's your favorite?
Sicko Mode.
Sicko mode? Sun is down, freezing cold? Really? Oh, wow.
We'll see.
So what's the part? She's in love with who I am.
Back in high school. cut the lights. Nothing nice.
Pay the price. Can't say the rest, you know? I haven't got that card yet. I'm kidding. But yeah.
Just gotta go wait till summer and tan a bit.
Long story oh God. Yeah. Long story short, the man is who he is. Rap game is evolving. It's changing. It's for the better, whatever is happening right now, because it's entertaining for us as fans. So thank you, Metro Boomin and Future, because we trust you even though you don't trust whatever album that you put out in relation to Drake. So that was the
Did Metro Boomin and Drake ever do a song together?
Yes,
they did, right?
Yeah, Ain't No Complaints.
Okay.
Works at the bank.
Man, I want Drake to like lean in more into his like Afrobeat, dancehall. He did that during More Life. He did that during I think mainly More Life, I think.
Yeah.
I think I know actually no Views as well.
Yeah, Views
Controlla.
His
probably One Dance, one of his
One Dance, yes.
one of his most popular songs.
If he makes a song with Tyla, I don't know how to feel about that. Like Travis did
Chris
it.
Brown's on that.
Yeah, Travis did it recently, and he put out a music video with her, and I'm like, Travis, you look very young, but she is young. Like, just leave it at the audio version. Yeah.
But again, I'm gonna manifest this out there. Drake and Weeknd they're gonna make a collab album together at one point. In their lives.
I really hope that happens, but I really thought you was gonna say he's gonna come on the pod.
You know what's really funny? Isn't that why you paid $2,000 to?
There we go again. It was $1,800.
$1,800 to go to the Toronto Drake concert because you thought the special guest would be The Weeknd.
Yeah, and then you messaged me the night before, yo, he's in South America on his Europe tour or something, and I'd be like, oh really? And then I check and I'm like, okay, maybe it'll be this guy.
Show up.
Long story short, still
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
Lil Baby.
Yeah.
Anywho, in other news, a bit close to home. Long time ago when we attended school. I'm kidding. Ontario school boards are suing TikTok, Meta, and Snapchat.
Why are they suing TikTok?
4
and Snapchat?
different district boards. So you got Peel Region in there. You probably got TDSB in there and the other district board that no one really cares about. Sorry. They're suing TikTok, Meta, and Snapchat.
Why?
because it is interfering with the education system. It is not deteriorating the education system, but is interfering with the quality of the education that the students are to receive.
How so?
4 major Ontario school boards are taking some of the largest social media companies, as I mentioned, to court over their products, alleging the way they've designed it has negatively rewired the way children think, behave, and learn, and disrupted the way schools operate. Canada, wow. Well, you can really sue anybody for anything here, eh?
That's more in the States, but that's very interesting. I definitely see that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what a lawsuit is going to do, though. Like, it's not like they're going to stop being.
Yeah.
Social media is not going to stop existing.
Exactly. I think this is one of those legal actions that I don't really understand what the objective is coming out of it. Are the apps going to change? No. Are they going to be like restricted in a certain setting in schools? No. It comes down to the user themselves, I think, you know?
Yeah, and I think you live in a world now where no matter how much you try, you can't really get away from social media.
Exactly.
It's an ingrained part of our culture, society in every part of the world, unless you're living in some tribe in the Amazon forest.
I'd love to go there.
To get away from social media.
Yeah.
But it's just such an integral part. And I would actually like to argue that understanding social media, understanding how to take advantage of it is extremely important if you want to grow in this society. If you want to succeed in this society. I feel like social media just plays such a important role in that now, because all the eyeballs are there, all the attention is there, which is, not a great thing, but that's just reality that it's there. So either you take advantage of that or you get left behind.
So let me ask you this. If it is so integral to our society and culture today, does it warrant the attention of potentially building it in your curriculum? Because, other things have been incorporated in our curriculum, right? Financial literacy starting, and I think that's great because I think that's like the basis of like anything or any country, like learning how to spend money, save money, and spending money. That's great. Yeah. Children should be taught that at a reasonable age. And then there's obviously some over and above stuff that is being taught as well, which is being protested. Mm-hmm. Sex ed.
And as it should be. I think that people are dumb for protesting it, but yeah.
No, sex ed is fine, but like.
You want to get into that debate? We can get into that debate.
Go ahead.
No, I mean.
I'm going to stand my ground. 10 feet, 10 toes deep, back straight. Mind's in the correct place. Go ahead.
No, I think sex ed, the curriculum they have now.
Yeah.
It's important in the context of, again, the society we're in.
Correct.
And you would rather have a child who understands the dynamic than someone who doesn't.
I agree. It's a double-edged, but see, I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Which is there's a potential for it to be brought up a bit too early. Flip side to it is it's going to be brought up eventually, right? In a kid's life.
Yeah.
One shape or form.
Yeah.
Look, this is an example. It may cater to a certain demographic, but let's say you have a kid, right? And let's say you are in a religious household, any religion. I'm not pinpointing anyone, right? You may know this, but they have a Pride Day at school now. If you're in a religious household, right, and you want your kid to be religious to a certain extent, obviously until the age of 18. After that, free fridge. They're a free bird. What do? Do you send that kid to school on Pride Day?
I would say so, yeah. It's important to be respectful, to understand different kinds of people, because you're not the only, especially in a society like Toronto.
Yeah.
Like especially Toronto.
Which is so diverse.
You have people from so many diverse thoughts. And I just think it would benefit kids to be exposed to that as opposed to being guarded from that.
Wow.
You as a parent, admittedly, neither of us are parents. Yeah. So I'm not going to get too much into parenting because we don't understand it. Mm-hmm. And hopefully one day we will. But in my view, I think if you do a good enough job parenting your kids, your kids are going to follow the path that the foundations that you've laid. But you shouldn't shelter them from things, because kids live in a society. At one point, you're not going to be there to guide the kids anymore.
Yeah.
So your kids are going to have to understand the society they live in, the people within that society, and also learn to respect everyone within that society.
Wow. So do you think in a South Asian household setting, the concept of sheltering one from various concepts has been like very evident, I think, at times?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing I don't understand, especially in South Asian culture, sex is such a vital part of life. It's a very normal part of life.
See, I giggle. That's how you know I've been sheltered, man.
It's such a normal part of life. Everyone does it at one point in their life. If you don't, I'm very sad for you.
You know, there's an article today that I read. This is amazing. Yeah. An 82-year-old passed away without meeting a single woman in his life. And I'm not talking meeting like talking. He did not see what a woman was. He died.
Oh. To each their own.
To each their own.
I love my woman. But I just think it's an important part of life. It's an integral part of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of a healthy life. And in Brown, I'm not going to speak about other households because I haven't been part of the other households.
Yes.
But especially in Brown households, it's such a taboo topic to talk about.
Yeah.
And we talked about the sex scenes when it comes up in front of our parents.
Mm.
It gets so awkward, but why?
Yeah.
Some level of awkwardness is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But why is it awkward to talk about it?
Correct.
Openly with our parents.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It shouldn't be. And that's one thing I think if I have kids, I want to have a relationship with them where they can be very open with me about topics about sex and stuff. And going back to sex ed, if you have an open household where those discussions can happen, you can, if you as a parent don't agree with certain things that are being taught, you can also talk about those things with your kids.
That is true.
But if you're just sheltering them and you're never talking about things,
it's going to kind of become the elephant in the house.
Elephant in the room. Your kids are never going to learn.
Yeah.
And it's just never going to be talked about. And everyone's going to be more ignorant.
Wow. So do you think sheltering one from certain concepts could actually make them more prone to, quote unquote, making mistakes?
I think so. What's the best way to make a healthy member of society? Education.
100%.
Education and I think education about something that's such an integral part of life is extremely important.
Yeah.
Tell me why a lot of people in our society go their entire lives without talking about sex, or learning about sex from their parents. Like, if porn wasn't a thing, how would we have ever learned about sex? Please tell me this. Really? Yeah?
Your teachers, no?
What, your teachers are teaching you about sex?
Safely, yes. So I skipped it. I'm kidding. No, I skipped it for other reasons.
Actually, that's true. So, see, sex ed. Because you had sex ed, you learned about it.
Yes.
I went through middle school back in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
We did not have sex ed. No.
There's no bang in Bangladesh.
There's a lot of bang there, but behind closed doors.
I see.
We have one of the most densely populated countries for a reason. But so that's the thing. Like, we never learned about it, and I think most kids who are sheltered to that extent nowadays just learn about sex through porn. Yeah.
See, it's almost force feeding it. I think if you, like you said, if you educate it in a correct manner, whichever that might be, because it is quite subjective, I think that could potentially mitigate certain avenues to be discovered less and less, you know, or at least to be perceived in the right way, maybe. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That is to say, I know a lot of folks in the brown community are probably going to disagree with me on this.
Okay, give it to me.
No, I mean, basically everything we just talked about in terms of not sheltering your kids and stuff. I know the more conservative folks in our circle are definitely going to hate on me for this, but it is what it is. It's my opinion, and that's what I believe. But anyway, so we've kind of gone off on a tangent here. So going back to our social media talk, should it be a part of the curriculum? I think that would be a great idea. Again, we've been out of school for a long time, so it might already be a part of this curriculum.
Mhm.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But if it is great, if not, yeah, it probably should be. At least, again, going back to the concept of educating kids
Yeah.
on the proper use of social media, what's real and what isn't.
That would be a fire course, like actually.
Yeah, like the effects social media has on you. Like you see your peers doing so well. It's not just kids, it's even us.
Yeah.
Like, because Instagram, LinkedIn, these are basically highlights of your life. And you only show the good parts.
The good highlights of your life.
Exactly, the good highlights of your life. You don't see the shit that people have to go through in their lives. And so it's such a warped perception of reality.
Yeah.
And yeah, people have a lot of issues that come from that because you think your life is not good enough. You think like body image issues. You think your body's not good enough. When you're a bit older, you look at LinkedIn updates. I think we talked about it.
Yeah.
That your profession isn't good enough. You're not succeeding enough.
Yeah.
Or social media is not life.
Exactly.
It's such a small snapshot of life, and it doesn't even do a good job at taking in everything that life has to offer. And the fact that kids and adults too, not just kids, have their eyeballs glued to social media for such a long extent of time, it definitely has an effect on your brain and reshaping your brain.
Yeah.
And I think education could go a long way into mitigating that.
So we don't necessarily disagree with the fact that they are suing because it potentially rewires kids. I can see the merit to that.
Yeah, exactly. I can see that too. I can see the rationale behind it. I just don't think in the society of today that it really makes sense.
Yeah. Also, I'm just really trying to understand what they're going to get out of this.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of times like organizations, people also create lawsuits just to prove a point. It's not really to get money. It's more so just to prove a point. And it might be that.
Only if I found that out a decade earlier when I was in high school and I actually pursued law. Abundance of demand.
So, okay. Speaking of kids, I think you want to bring something else up.
No, I was just pondering thought the other day. Oh, might get flamed for this, but we're in that age group right now where obviously people are having children of their own, right? And it makes you kind of think where you are in life and where you want to be and that next phase of life. Kind of gets you thinking, just like with any other phase of life, is having children of your own, is it just another phase in life, or is it something that we do selfishly to, continue our genes, maybe?
But is that selfish though? Is that selfish to continue our genes?
I'm just putting this out as a debate. I'm not on necessarily one side or the other. I love kids, but I'm just saying that look at the state of the world. Not to be a pessimistic, but like, come on, where am I gonna go? The other day I just randomly looked this up, and I don't know why this came up on my feed, but like, I didn't know that there's so many nuclear weapons in the world, like official declared ones. Did you know Russia has almost like 5,900? Like,
God damn, really?
Like, what's the point? What's the reason? Like, one's good. That's what Call of Duty taught me. But going back to it, I'm not a pessimistic person by any means. But sometimes you want to look at the state of the world and be like, yo, do I really want to bring someone in to kind of go through this? And I think that's that. If I look at it factually, if you look at previous generations, some very important people have had short-term visions which have compromised our present day as a result, in my opinion.
What kind of vision are you talking about?
For example, the Industrial Revolution. Great for economic benefit, but what did it do? It blew up something that we're taking care of now, which is
climate change.
Exactly.
That's an interesting
take. I know it is very weird because it kind of sounds pessimistic, but mind you, if you remember during the pandemic, there was this aerial image of Earth, certain parts of Earth where, the economy was shut down. That's what it need. That's the extent that we need to take for some sort of material change to occurring climate change.
So, I mean, but you have to think about this.
Yeah.
Is the rise in temperatures,
Correct. Attributed to.
well, no, is it so big that it offsets all the other benefits we had from economic revolution? Like lifting whole societies out of poverty, giving people opportunities they never had, advancing into we don't get all the advancements we have now without the Industrial Revolution. We don't enter into a digital age without the Industrial Revolution. For all intents and purposes, we're probably still stuck in medieval times. Now, you could maybe say, okay, without technology, life was better. I don't know.
Maybe tell me this. Why is it that the life expectancy globally has increased throughout the course of time due to technology and medicine, but we're at an all-time high rate of depression and anxiety as well?
Are we at an all-time high rate of depression and anxiety?
God damn, just look at your social media, bro.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, okay, social media is probably one reason.
Yeah. You think it's
I
amplified?
mean, I also think people are better able to identify certain things.
Like it's more out in the open.
It's more out in the open. I think back in the day, people probably didn't even know what depression and anxiety were. So you couldn't really name the feeling you were feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But is it more amplified now? For sure.
Yeah.
Because it's everywhere. And I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because you see, okay, my friend says they're depressed. This other friend said they have anxiety disorder. This other friend says they have ADHD. I need to have something too to be a part of that group. I feel like that dynamic sometimes plays when it comes to especially like mental illness. A lot of times, a lot of I would say more so for Gen Zs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sound like I get flamed for sounding like an old head in our comments.
Guess what? We're millennials. We're not old heads yet.
They're like, oh, the birth of an old head. When I talked about like Curry being like the last true superstar.
Come on. Come on.
We're
not taking shade at Anthony Edwards or Victor Wembanyama. We're just saying Steph Curry might be the last of the superstars.
Exactly.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to say was on this whole mental health concept.
Let me finish my thought first. So
go ahead.
I was saying, so I might sound like an old head, but it is true. When you're exposed to something so much, and your brain is constantly being fed that information that, oh, depression, depressed.
Yeah.
Some part of you is going to gravitate towards that. And now I'm not saying depression isn't real. It is very real. But I think it also minimizes the people who are actually truly suffering from depression, because it's almost like a rite of passage.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Look at me now. And I think it does more harm than good, because, as I said, depression is very real, and people who are actually truly suffering from depression are not being taken seriously because it's such a normal thing apparently now.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you bring up. True double-edged sword. What did I want to bring up? Yes, this was another thing I wanted to bring up on the topic of mental health. Another thing I think that contributes very heavily to it and is self-induced is this concept of, I pulled an all-nighter. I'm on 2 hours of sleep. I need my coffee. I need that espresso. We did that to ourselves. Why is it cool to sleep for 2 hours now? I'm a victim of it too. Like I sleep at 1 and then I go the next morning. Yeah, when I slept at 1 or 2. Yeah, I'm on 3 hours of sleep. Oh my God, no way. I'm like, yeah, cool, right?
Isn't it almost to get that validation? Where you say,
of what?
I'm on 2 hours of sleep. I say, oh no, really?
Yeah, hey, look, I went on 2 hours of sleep just to fuck myself up more, and I want you to think I'm cool because I can fuck myself up for free.
Nah, that shit was cool in high school. I don't know why we thought it was cool to pull all-nighters, to say that we pulled all-nighters.
Yeah.
All it really says is that you weren't disciplined enough to get your job done on time.
Wow.
And I was the number one culprit of that. Remember the number of all-nighters I used to pull?
Dude, you to some extent did not make sense as like a student. You would just, like I said, we would study the same material. We would more or less have the same strategy. We just came out with different marks.
Yeah. And to be honest, back then I thought it was cool to succeed without putting in effort.
Yeah.
I think that's what it really came down to.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was too cool to put for hard work.
Wow.
And so for me, it was like, oh, let me see how well I can do with the least amount of effort possible.
Oh, wow.
And you get away with that for a certain period in life.
Yes.
But
Until things get real.
until things get real, and it got real for me. And I would say to this day, it's getting real for me.
Oh, yeah?
And I feel like kids who develop that work ethic
Mm-hmm.
at an early age,
Yeah.
they're much likelier to fare better later in life than if you were someone like me who got good grades in school but didn't develop that work ethic.
Yeah.
It becomes a lot harder to develop it later on in life.
Yeah, that is true.
But okay, so bringing it back to our original topic about kids, I don't know how we went from kids to like.
It's the coffee. I'm telling you.
So bringing it back to our original topic about is it selfish to have kids? I mean, isn't it a core, like almost like the primary goal of any being is to ensure the survival of its species. And how do you do that? Is through reproduction.
Oh. Very fair point. Yeah.
So,
sometimes it just gets a little disheartening to see some of the things that are happening, and then you're just like, oh shit, I gotta do something. I gotta do it in the right way, and I gotta try even harder just to keep up with stuff so that it's okay. Essentially.
yeah, I mean, no one's gonna like blame you for having that feeling.
Yeah.
And I think it's to each their own, right? And I think Elon Musk is a big proponent of this because he tweets about it all the time.
What, having kids?
Having kids, where he's like, he actually is on the opposite side of the spectrum, where he thinks the biggest danger to the human species right now
Yeah.
is the birth rate.
Like it's
too low.
It's too low?
It's at an all-time low.
Really?
And so his point is that human beings are eventually going to die out if it stays at this
Really?
level. Yeah. So that's why he's had multiple kids with multiple women. And he's like, just doing my part to save our species.
Oh, that's the excuse that he used?
That's the excuse that he used.
Never figured that our birth rate is low, given all I see is, oh, we've hit 7 billion. Oh, we hit 9 billion. Oh, we're going to hit 15 billion. Oh, let's go to Mars.
A lot of countries have very low birth rate.
I see. I would assume that's more on the developed Western nations, right?
Yeah. Well, Eastern too, Japan, China. Yep.
China?
Yeah.
Didn't they just revoke their like one-child policy?
That's exactly why they did, because their birth rate was getting too low.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sometimes that's so crazy to me. China had a problem that there's just like a limited amount of women.
But yeah, so I think, yeah, kids, again, everyone is entitled to their own, I guess, belief in how you want to live your life. I think kids are a blessing, and we'll see if I feel that way later on in life. So going back into us being old heads, we, as I mentioned, we keep getting flamed for this on social media, especially about in our basketball topic, where we talked about us preferring certain superstars.
Just when you thought we wouldn't discuss more basketball.
And not certain Gen Z superstars. But I don't know if it's an old head or not, because what I was going to say is I think the level of talent in the league right now is just so much higher than it was before that it doesn't really compare. There's a point I said for people who think I'm an old head. I think if Anthony Edwards played in the 90s, he would be considered Michael Jordan.
Oh, my God. If we ain't getting flamed, we get inflamed now. You think Anthony Edwards would be Michael Jordan in Michael Jordan's era?
He looks like Mike, doesn't he?
So many people have that theory.
That he's Mike's son.
Yeah, he's Mike's son.
True son.
Oh, true
Yeah,
son.
I think, bro, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Green, the kids that are coming up, the level of offensive talent that they have.
Yeah.
People say that defense, people don't play defense anymore. I don't think it's that. It's just the level of offensive talent is so off the charts. Defense just can't keep up. The defense being played now, the level of defense being played now is significantly higher than the 90s.
Yeah, you actually brought up a point the other day, which was like, I think defense was so amplified in terms of the level of defense and the caliber of the defense that was played back in the day in the 90s, it was over amplified given that only a few superstars were able to excel in offense. Now it's like everybody's excelling in offense, so the defense just seems like it's so minimal.
It is, exactly. That's why it seems it's so minimal. But one thing I don't understand is why would you think that defense is not as good now as it was before? Players are more athletic.
Yeah.
Players are smarter. They have been playing basketball for longer.
Yeah, evolution of basketball.
They have defensive instincts ingrained in them since they're kids. And you really think defense would be worse now than it was before? No, it's just that offense has just gotten so good, and the system of just pace and space and spamming threes is just so efficient.
Yeah.
And the skill level of players, like everyone can shoot. It's like shooting 40% from three back in the day used to mean something. Now almost everyone does it.
Wow.
If you're not shooting 40% from three, you're not considered a three-point shooter. Well, back in the day, if you were shooting 40% from three, you were considered a great three-point shooter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So how is defense supposed to keep up with that? Like, yeah, sure, you can implement some rule changes to make maybe hand checking legal. You can maybe take away defensive 3 seconds, right? Do some things to implement rule changes. But those rule changes are simply going to be to keep up with the offense now. It's not that defense has just gotten shittier.
Yeah. That is a crazy point.
So take that, people who think I'm an old head.
Let's continue on that topic of old head. Do you think we'll ever see a player like Shaq again?
Can you imagine if Shaq was playing now?
I'm trying to imagine what that would be like. Because, look, at the end of the day, a 3 beats a 2. But the thing is, this guy will constantly get 2s. There will be nobody that stops him. And that's what I want to bring forth. Let's say a player comes into the league that is of Dwight Howard or Shaq's dominance, pure dominance. How will he actually
but
fare
don't we
in
have
the NBA? Who?
Don't we have someone like that?
Who?
Antetokounmpo.
Giannis?
He's a modern version of Shaq, I would say.
Yeah, he is a modern version of Shaq. Yeah.
I think if Shaq grew up in this era, he would basically be Giannis.
That is a good comparison, yes. And just like Shaq, Giannis does have his limitations, which is Haka Giannis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take 20 seconds on the free throw line.
Oh, that is a good point. And I think that was one of the primary reasons why people might have left Dwight Howard off the top 75 team. Because if you look at...
That was Snake, though.
Huh?
This man won what? Like 3 Defensive Player of the Years back to back?
Yeah, like he got snaked.
Yeah, he got snaked.
Yeah, 100%.
His legacy is definitely better than Anthony Davis. How does Anthony Davis make it but not Howard?
Hey, AD's making a point. You know why? Because he's played God knows what is it, like some statistic out there, 99 out of his last 124 games.
Okay, so?
That's a good point. Okay.
Has Anthony Davis ever led a team to the finals?
No.
AD's been to the finals.
Correct.
Led by LeBron.
Yes.
In the bubble.
Yep. He was supposed to lead a team with DeMarcus Cousins, but we all know how that went.
Yeah. So, but Howard, without a true second superstar on his team.
It was Jameer Nelson, who's not a superstar.
Exactly. Yeah. And JJ Redick.
Shout out to JJ.
I remember that 2K team.
Yes, you do.
But he took that team all the way to the finals, beat LeBron on the way.
Yeah.
That was the year we were supposed to get Kobe versus LeBron, but Howard had other plans. So, yeah, I think just got to put some respect on that name.
Yeah. Switching gears. Have you seen the LeBron and JJ podcast?
It's a fire.
That is a fire podcast. Like, it might put us out of business. I'm kidding. But, like, holy shit. It's like every other week there's more and more, not podcasts, but NBA-focused podcasts. Now you got the Knicks with their, whatever they call it, bro room or something like that. They got their podcast going. But, yeah, the JJ and LeBron, for NBA enthusiasts like you and myself, that thing is just butter.
It is. And this is going back to what our guest in the last episode, Noor Zainab, what she was talking about. And I kind of agreed with her in terms of, I guess, more casual fans.
Yes.
Where she's right. You just want to come back home, turn off your brain, and just go watch TV and enjoy a game.
Yeah.
But I think there's a subset of fans who are so invested in the game, like you and I, where we love hearing about the X's and O's. And so, yeah, to your point, the LeBron and JJ podcast, it's like music to our ears.
Oh, yeah.
I could listen to that all day.
And just the way LeBron talks about his approach, it's just insane. Because you think about it, and then he just has this over and above level of how he sees the game.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably the smartest basketball player ever.
Yeah. And it was crazy. I think another quote came out today where he's like, I hate this perception where people think, does he have the bag or does he not have the bag? And then like he's posting up a kid who's 20 years younger than him. He has the bag.
Yeah. I mean, it's, again, there are certain accounts on Twitter, such as Ball Don't Stop.
Yeah.
These guys, they think just because you can go one-on-one that you're an amazing basketball player. Basketball is more than that. It's not a one-on-one game.
Yeah.
And it's not like, yeah, sure, Kyrie right now is actually underrated.
Ramadan Kyrie, God bless.
God damn, that left-handed game winner. Oh my God. I actually caught that live. I'm
really?
so glad. Yeah, I was for some reason I was watching the Mavericks game.
Yeah.
For no reason, I just threw it on.
Yeah.
And I caught that. I was like, oh my God. That feeling I got from that game winner reminded me of it's not anywhere close, but it kind of approached that Curry game winner against OKC when I watched it in terms of the off factor.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and that too over Jokic. Holy.
Yeah. But yeah, that's besides the point. I think, yeah, Kyrie is one of those guys, okay, if you're that level of one-on-one player,
yeah,
maybe. But then again, you look at Kyrie's efficiency a lot of times. He's not the most efficient player. Yeah. So you might look like you have a bag and you can take people one-on-one, but numbers don't lie.
No,
some people say that analytics is bad for the NBA, but you can't always just rely on eye test. Numbers say a lot.
Yeah, they do. And there's a reason why they're there. So, Chuck? No? Yeah, analytics are there.
Analytics are important. There's a reason teams spam.
Do I think they should be brought up in every conversation? No, because at the end of the day, there is like intangible asset to the game, which is just IQ, and that can't be really be defined by numbers to a certain extent.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that is to say we should probably wrap up that episode. We went on a few different tangents, but it was a fire episode nonetheless.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what the caption of the episode is going to be. 21 questions and 39 topics.
Yeah, we are approaching 100 subs on YouTube, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
What's the number exactly? Look it up.
69.
Okay, we're still kind of far from 100.
Yes.
But I know, okay, for people who have a lot of subscribers, it might seem very mundane, but I would have never thought 69 complete strangers, and I know most of our subscribers are complete strangers.
Yeah, they are. Vetted.
That they would find us interesting enough to actually subscribe to our channel and want to listen to us.
Yeah.
That thought is just crazy to me. And that's just on YouTube. We have about 50 or so followers on TikTok. Again, nothing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But for us, these aren't like people in our friend circle. These are complete strangers who found us, 50 complete strangers found us interesting enough to subscribe to our pod. That's to say, I'm very appreciative of people who have subscribed to us, who listen to us, and just want to keep bringing out more banger content.
There you go. Exactly. That's what it is.
With that being said, on 3, we out.